The story comes to us from VermontBiz.com. And before we get to the story, we're going to talk a little bit about Eminem taking a knee at the Super Bowl halftime show last night. Now, rumors are that he was advised against it, or actually told not to do it. Rumors are that they told him, no knees at the Super Bowl. And he did it anyway, which I love because, you know, he showed that, look, I believe in this. It's something that I'm passionate about. I'm going to do it. Even though it's the unpopular vote, I'm going to do it. Because I have free expression. I'm an American with free speech, and I'm doing what I want to do. He doesn't work for NBC. He was just there to do the halftime show. Now, if he was a broadcaster or one of the... I kind of get that. But moving on, we're going to talk about Colin Kaepernick. That's right. Now, this story's a little old. I got a little behind. And by the way, yes, I have to look at my computer to read the story as I go through this. If anybody wants to buy me a Chrome teleprompter that goes right behind my iPhone 13 Pro Max here, I'll give you my mailing address, okay? Just make sure it's a current one, a new one. LA billboards last week were asking, when it comes to public safety, are you getting what you paid for? Vermont business magazine Ben & Jerry's and Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights camp have joined forces in a billboard campaign that hit Los Angeles last week preparing for the Super Bowl. The campaign asked state and local governments to invest in programs that address the root causes of social harm rather than policing in prisons. Despite police spending being at an all-time high, crime rates are increasing. Additionally, these crime rates don't capture other forms of harm which remain unaddressed in communities, particularly urban, lower income, inner city communities. Data shows the best way to address harm and reduce crime is to address root causes by investing in livable wages, mental health services, safe housing, youth development programs. Studies also show investing in vital services like education, job training, substance use treatment. They can have a significant positive impact on people's health, well-being, and on the safety of their communities. Ben & Jerry's global head of activism strategy, Chris Miller, was quoted as saying, if U.S. law enforcement were a country, it would have the third largest military budget in the world. Think about that. The third largest military budget goes to the U.S., the United States law enforcement. He goes on to say it's time to take a community-based approach to public safety because it's the best and most effective way to strengthen our communities and keep people healthy and safe. They're saying the U.S. currently spends $205 billion every year on law enforcement, and we still have homeless in this country by the thousands and hundreds of thousands. More than the military budgets, that $205 billion is more than the military budgets of the United Kingdom, North Korea, Germany, Russia, and India combined. Only China spends more on law enforcement than the United States. Well, think about it. China, they have 2 billion people, I think. Despite decades of spending, there has been no dissemblable impact on social harm or crime, and the impact on black and brown communities is well documented. So they're spending all this money on law enforcement, and we still got the same crime that we had back in 1985. And they go on, there's more quotes here. I'll put a link to it in the description box below. It's a really lengthy story. Talk about Colin Kaepernick actually gives a big quote here if you want to go read that. But the main thing is Colin Kaepernick and Ben and Jerry's are combining forces to try to talk about how we can address the root causes of harm and crime and what's going on in these communities, rather than spending all our money on policing, which isn't doing anything anyway, because cops are still out there hurting people and violating civil rights.